Greetings, programs, and welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where post office garbage is finally sorted out, so we can get back to these little Friday digital pet videos. So today, for fun, we're going to look at some OG original Tamagotchis. So I know I just said we're looking at OG originals, but here's the thing. I still have my OG original Tamagotchi. And I don't know if you can see on the viewfinder here, on the camera, but it's having a little bit of trouble with its screen. As well as the buttons aren't as responsive as they should be. So I probably do, unfortunately, need to crack this thing open. And something's probably corroded or not making full contact like it should. But I do have the 2017, 18, somewhere around there, the recent 20th anniversary Tamagotchi reissues. And other than some colors on the outside and the battery cover, they're identical. They are 100% identical. You know, this uses two LR44 batteries. This uses one CR2032. Other than that, completely identical. So, really quick, I'm going to put this one into the set the time mode, because that's actually the old trick for these guys. When you need to pause them, keep them quiet, just go get the clock ready to set. Then actually set the clock and activate it whenever you want to actually run the pet. There you go. Cool trick. But start off here, yeah, this is technically, the reissue, but this is the original Tamagotchi from 1997. And I'm impressed how much these things still hold up. So, really quick, go through its functions here. First one is food. You can either feed it an actual meal, which on the G1 is a muffin. And notice I said G1. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a while. Or you can give it a snack, which is just a blatant piece of candy. Food, as you can guess, keeps it from being hungry. The snacks are one of two ways to make it happy. Here you've got the light. You just need to turn the light off when it goes to sleep. It turns the light back on its own. Here you have the game, and I will actually play this really quick. So you're going to play it using the A and C button, or, first and second button. On this one, you're just trying to guess which direction he's going to look. So, 3 out of 5. I'm doing very, very poorly. I've already lost at this point. I got the last 2 at least. But I still did bad. Thankfully, you do not lose happiness points by being bad at the game, so you can just keep playing until you earn enough. Fourth one, that's the medicine. Tamagotchis do get sick, especially if you don't clean up their poop. The next one, the rubber ducky, cleans up his poop. This one is the little stats. This one is 2 years old, meaning that it is 2 days old. 22 ounces. If you want to get their weight down, you can actually play with them instead of giving them candy. It will time out of things really quick, as you can see there. Discipline, this one hasn't needed disciplined yet. Fully hungry, or not hungry at all, I guess, completely happy. And then this last one, that is the actual discipline. So, once in a while, your Tamagotchi will light up an icon down here when it doesn't actually need anything. And it will refuse to play with you as well if you try to go to the game. So when it's doing that, you just go down and hit the discipline button. He gets mad for a second. They will usually lose a point of happiness, but they get, some points for discipline. And that's really all there is to it. You just go through raising this little guy. Depending on how good of a job you do, it will it grows into different pets. So, again, like I mentioned earlier, this is the Gen 1. That's because there's also a Gen 2 released around the same time. Now, again, this is also a reissue, but going how completely identical the Gen 1 reissue was, I'm going to assume that the Gen 2 reissue is just as accurate. I never got to have an actual Gen 1. This is the reissue. Fun little fact, I fell while I was holding this thing, while its keychain was still attached. And as you can see, I broke the loop off. Oops. There's a reason that I traditionally remove keychains and stuff. They hook on things, I'm clumsy, they break. So, this one, most of the same features, although here, instead of saying meal and snack, it just shows, a burger or a piece of cake. Tamagotchis won't eat food when they're full. The light works exactly the same. The game is a little different on this one. And you have to guess if the number will be higher or lower. So, use A for lower, and B for higher. Again, it's just a simple 2 out of 3. Or 3 out of 5, I mean. I actually did good there, so there's that. Medicine, exactly the same. Flush, exactly the same. It is a pretty funny little animation. It just pushes the Tamagotchi off to the side. Even the, stats menu is the same. Everything else is the same, really, except these ones have different pets that she can grow into. Now, you'll notice that I'm using she for this one and he for this one. This becomes more relevant when I get to some later Tamagotchis that were released, but basically the way that the baby looked in this one and this one ended up becoming the different genders of baby Tamagotchis. So the baby on this one is just like a completely black little blob. And on this one, it's actually a white blob. They didn't fill it in with all the little pixel, LCD pixels there. So that actually ended up becoming the gender split. So technically, if you're going to get into that deep, deep Tamagotchi lore, all Gen 1s were boys and all Gen 2s were girls. Now, that really is all there is to these guys, frankly. One other thing, if you hit the A button and the C button together, he's not wanting to do it for some reason. Okay, it wants you to hold C, then hit A. You can turn off the sound that way. Do it again to turn it back on. And you can hit the middle button if you're not selecting an icon to just go to the clock. That time is a lie. That's just the time that I had set it to keep it awake right now. Then again, same thing on this one. Do that, turns off the sound. Exact same clock. So, these ones really are as simple as it gets, but I wanted to go over them really quickly just to not so much get them out of the way, but just kind of lay the groundwork. Tamagotchis, you feed them, you play with them, or give them candy to make them happy, you discipline them once in a while, you clean up their poop, and you give them medicine when they're sick. They started out really simple. I think the original versions of the Gen 1 and 2 did come out in the same year. I'm not 100% sure. You'd be shocked the fan communities that still revolve around these things. But, so yeah, that's these guys. And in next week's video, we're going to move on to some of the newer Tamagotchis where it gets ridiculous. how many features they have. So, I'll see you guys then.